ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः श्रीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ वृषभं शर्षणीनां विश्वरूपमदाभ्यं बृहस्पतिं वरेण्यम् ॐ तद्विष्णोः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवीव चक्षुरा ततम् ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं ज्योतिर्ब्रह्माय नमः। ॐ हरे रामकृष्ण हरे रामकृष्ण हरे रामकृष्ण। ॐ पराशराय नमः। ॐ पराशराय नमः। ॐ पराशराय नमः। ॐ घृणिसूर्यः आदित्यः ॐ घृणिसूर्यः आदित्यः ॐ घृणिसूर्यः आदित्यः ॐ।
I have a question on the last week class.
Yes, go ahead. What is your question?
In other dashas, actually, when we count the antardashas, so we count from 11. Suppose if 11th antardasha we are looking.
So, not in other dashas, you mean specifically in Sudarshan Chakra. Yes.
When you are looking at the antardashas, so we you said like 11 means if the 11th antardasha means you count 11th house from the
basically
or from the Lagna Sun Moon.
Lagna Sun Moon.
Okay.
Lagna Sun Moon in the Dasha Pravesh Chakra. So when somebody is born, Lagna is in a particular place, Moon is in a particular place, Sun is in a particular place. That is the basis, that is the chart basically of the person. And during the life course, basically they are progressed at the rate of 1 year per sign. Every year they are progressed by 1 sign. And then when it comes to the judging the Dasha, we judge the Dasha based on the Dasha Pravesh Chakra. Based on the positions of planets at the time of the beginning of the Dasha. So, my suggestion is, in that Dasha Pravesh Chakra, see where Lagna, Moon and Sun are. And take those as the reference. So, for that 1 year, that becomes the chart basically. Just like the natal chart was the controller for finding the Mahadashas, the Dasha Pravesh Chakra becomes the controlling chart for the further division within that particular year. All the results are shown by that year. So just like take that as a Jama Chakra, see how things are, and then take the Lagna Moon Sun there and progress from there, then you get the Antardashas.
So is it like will differ Surya Siddhanta versus Drik Siddhanta this particular?
Yeah. We are not even doing any Drik Siddhanta now. We are sticking to Surya Siddhanta completely.
So it is part of Surya Siddhanta calculation?
Basically it is part of the, it's not really part of Surya Siddhanta. When using Surya Siddhanta, based on what makes sense, we are basically drawing some conclusions. So the conclusion was drawn using calculations based on Surya Siddhanta.
And this is only seen for the physical matter, I mean, because last time we never looked at this kind of Surya Chakra for other matters like career.
We did see for career in the last class, you remember? We were seeing
for the midterm is...
we were seeing D10.
But that is for political, like Monday.
No, but the thing is, we were using the natal chart. We weren't using any mundane charts. We were using the natal chart of Mitrami. So the bottom line is, it can be used in D10, D24, D20, in various divisional charts. You don't necessarily have to do this in the D1. As a matter of fact, we haven't seen any examples of D1. We have only seen D10, D24, D16, etc.
Now, why that is different from Rash Chakra we used to see? Sudarshan Chakra Dasha and Charadashas. How it is different? Like,
I see. So what do you see in this? What do you see in that? Every Dasha basically throws light on what is likely to happen during different phases in life. Jyothishya shows during these 19 years, these are the trends, during these 70 years, these are the trends, and so on. Same with Charadashya, it shows different trends at different phases in life. But the thing is, what Parashara said is, there are so many complications. For example, if you take Saradasya, right? Saradasya, how do you judge it? There are several rules. If you strictly use Parashara, he gave several rules. Based on the sign, based on the planets occupying the Dasha sign, planets aspecting the Dasha sign, based on the which house Dasha sign is in, which sign Dasha sign's Lord is in, who he is with, who's aspecting him, and the strength, is he exalted, debilitated, is he compassed, is he in an inimical house. So based on all these you get. And also based on the Arudha of the Dasha sign, Arudha of the Dasha sign. So there are so many different factors. Same with Vimshotri. There are so many different factors. And the thing is, it is very easy to, if we are not consistently doing the same thing in every chart, if we are basically picking different parameters in different cases, it's very easy to justify anything, but at the same time, when you are looking at future, it becomes difficult to identify exactly what may happen. So, this is not just our problem. Even Parashara recognized it. Parashara said, in Kali Yuga, human beings, when they have to balance so many contradictory factors and come to a balanced conclusion, they will find it very difficult. Even Jupiter himself, the god Jupiter, Brihaspati himself will find it very difficult. So what to speak of the intellectual pygmies of Kali Yuga, he said. So he said for them, I'll give a very simple technique. For them the best technique to give annual, monthly and daily results is this. And then he gave this.
Which one?
Sudarshan Chakradasha. And then he said basically take Lagna, Moon and Sun and then progress one sign every year. And then at the beginning of the year see how the planetary position is with respect to those progress Lagna, Moon and Sun. And see how things are. And for month also he said based on the positions of the planets at the beginning of the month. But the thing is, if I progress the Antardashas based on the Dasha sign, I wasn't very satisfied. I didn't find anything consistent. But when I did this is not really explicitly granted by Parashara, but this doesn't really violate what Parashara said. Because what Parashara said about Antardasha computation is kind of vague. So this basically, once I did this gave far more consistent results for the monthly and 2.5 day divisions. So that is why I went public with this. We will actually do one thing. This is actually, in my opinion, and one more thing is, apart from the Sudarshan Chakradasha, he basically also said, use the Ashtakavarga. He said Ashtakavarga can be combined with Sudarshan Chakradasha. So we will see some more examples of this only today, Sudarshan Chakradasha. We will do this. Apart from the Charadasha, Vimshotri Dasha, annual charts, etc., this is a very useful technique. This is not so fine that you can tell exactly what is going to happen. But the thing is, in terms of identifying whether a period is good or bad, or there will be tensions relating to which house, or there will be good results relating to which house, to find those basic parameters, is it a good time or bad time with respect to various houses. And you can do that for a year or month or 2.5 days or 2.5 days divided by 12, which is basically 5 hours or like that basically. You can 25 minutes. You can basically keep dividing further and further, and then during that period you can identify what will be the focus area in a particular division chart. So this is a useful technique. So we will focus a little more on this. I will take my chart as an example. Let me see. The data I am using with the beta 2, 7.52 beta 2 is April 4, 1970, 5:47:45 p.m. And one more thing is, I'm just giving a heads up, we will discuss it a little later. There was one technique that I stumbled on basically. It's not really given in any classic, but it's a simple extension of things that people already know. A very simple idea, but I will be writing about it in a couple of weeks, and also we'll be taking some examples of that. The thing with that technique is, what we are doing now is very generic stuff. That technique is very, very fine. That technique requires the bud time to be extremely accurate, like within 10 seconds. If the bud time is off by 10 seconds, it will basically not show anything. But if the bud time is within 10 seconds, it will show that it's basically an annual chart. Just like you have the Sadhika, the Tipravesh, etc. This is a special annual chart. And when you use this particular annual chart, If the time is accurate, things will make excellent sense. There will be nice combinations that are showing the event in that year, and then even the dasha will show it in 75% cases. But the chart itself, almost 100% cases will show nice combinations. It will be very clear. And if you change the time by maybe half minute, it will totally disappear. Basically, that kind of it's basically, and it will happen for various events in the life. It's very consistently it happens. So, but the problem is you can't use it to make predictions right away. You basically because the time may be off by a few minutes. But the thing is, if you want to rectify, all the techniques that we have are not really that great for rectifying. Because this technique shows an event, basically between good time and correct time and incorrect time, the difference is so vast. The contrast is so deep that it will be useful for rectification. So I'll be talking about it in a few weeks. I'll be actually writing about it also on Jyotish writings and other lists. And after that we'll take that in the class and do some examples. So we'll get specific. We'll go into really fine techniques later. But this is basically very generic stuff. During this year, in career or maybe in education, whatever area of life you are interested in, marriage or children, are things basically okay? Are there any particular houses that stand out as problem houses or good houses? Is this basically good or bad time? So this kind of generic results are very useful to have. This is basically like seeing the forest. Seeing the trees is a different matter, but at least you are in the right ballpark. So if a candidate is running for president, at least you have to know whether the time is basically favorable or is he going to just drop out. For example, when I wrote about John Huntsman, after the class I basically wrote about whatever we discussed in the class on the Yahoo group. I said John Huntsman's chart doesn't really show much promise, or Icari's chart doesn't show much promise. But the thing is, if you look at Huntsman's chart, if you just look at Vimshottari Dasha, he's actually running the Dasha and Antardasha of a Yokarka, two planets giving Raj Yoga. The thing is, well, he was the governor of a small state and ambassador. Now he's on national stage. A lot of people, I mean, maybe 1% or 2% of US, but a lot of people fell in love with the guy. They really admire the guy. Me included. I think I never thought he had a practical chance, but he's a very good candidate. As a matter of fact, in my honest opinion, he had the biggest chance of beating Obama if nominated in the general election, because he's very moderate, he's very reasonable, and he can appeal to the independents who will swing this election. Because extreme Republicans will vote Republican no matter who the candidate is. Extreme Democrats will vote Democrat no matter who the nominee, of course, nominee is Obama. It's basically the people in the middle. And unfortunately, in the primaries, people in the middle don't do well. People on the extremes basically tend to do well. So anyway, if you look at just Vimshottari or Sardasha of Huntsman, they basically show a good time. So it's very tough to know whether he's going to be the president or not. So for that, annual charts are useful, but Sudarshan Chakra Dasha is very useful. It was based on the Sudarshan Chakra Dasha that I concluded he has no hope. So anyway, let's see a few examples of Sudarshan Chakra Dasha so that we get a hang of how to use it. The data is my own data. April 4, 1970, 17:47:45. That's 5:47:45 p.m. 5:47:45 p.m. Indian Standard Time. 5 hours 30 minutes east of GMT. The place is Machilipatnam, India. That's 81 degrees 8 minutes east, 16 degrees 10 minutes north. So what we will, I'm using 7.52 beta. If you are using a previous version and Sursudanda, calculation will be slightly off. But for Sudarshan Chakra Dasha, I think we are fine. Because this is not really dependent on fine rectification of the time. As long as Lagna in the divisional chart is correct, this is fine basically. So you have a leeway of maybe 10 minutes. For everybody born in a 10-minute period, the same Navamsya, Sudarshan Chakra Dasha, Dashan Sudarshan Chakra Dasha will run. So 47:45 is what I am using with the beta 2. So let us see a few events in my life. One of the first important events in life was relating to D24. This was standing state first with a regard score in intermediate in the 12th grade exams before college in the high school. So 87 May 28 was when I stood state first, and also a couple of days later I I was selected to IIT Chennai, IIT Madras for the BTech program. So those if you look at the annual chart, go to Sudarshan Chakra Dasha, click on options and change it for D24. Okay? And open the natal D24. You see that natal D24 has Lagna in Gemini, Cancer, Moon, and Sun is in Scorpio. So the dashas will start from Gemini, Cancer, Scorpio. Gemini, Lagna, Cancer for progress Moon, and Scorpio for progress Sun. And they keep going one sign per year. So in 87 April 5, a new year started. And during that year, what was the dasha? Scorpio, Sagittarius, Aries. Okay? So during this year, there has to be some combination showing success, recognition, fame, etc. relating to education. So, if you look at Scorpio, how is Scorpio? Fifth house. Look at fifth house of fame and success and recognition. Are there any interesting combinations relating to it?
Jupiter is actually aspecting his own house.
Jupiter is aspecting his own house. Moreover, he is exalted. Right?
Yes.
So, Jupiter is exalted. So, from progress Lagna in Scorpio, Jupiter is in the 9th house. Okay. Now, I'll tell you how to use Ashtakavarga also. So, Parashara said use Ashtakavarga in combination with Sudarshan Chakra. So, earlier we were just using Sudarshan Chakra. So, to do the Ashtakavarga, you have to memorize the Ashtakavarga table basically. Or, what I do is I refer to the software. In the software I see. I'll show you how to do that. But the thing is, ideally, if you remember the good positions and bad positions of every planet with respect to every reference, it will be useful. I mean, you don't need to know all the 8 references. Just Lagna, Sun and Moon. From Lagna, Sun and Moon. Because in Sudarshan Chakra Dasha, you have the progress Lagna, progress Sun and progress Moon.
Right.
So with respect to that, in this particular chart where Lagna, Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, all these planets are, you see, and from that you see whether that planet is benefic or malefic with respect to that reference. So the thing is here, from Scorpio, the progress Lagna, Jupiter is the 9th Lord, right? And, sorry, 5th Lord, and he is exalted in the 9th house and aspecting 5th house. So, a planet exalted, aspecting his own sign, awesome. So, he shows excellent results. But the thing is, if he is also strong in Ashtakavarga, it's basically like icing on the cake. So, Ashtakavarga wise, from Lagna, is 9th a good placement for Jupiter?
Yes.
Yes. And if you want to find out, what I suggest is, go to the Ashtakavarga, strength, upper tab, Ashtakavarga, lower tab, click on show PAV of Lagna. PAV of Lagna. If you do that, normally what it does is, it shows from which references Lagna is benefic in this particular, in each sign. In each sign it shows from which references Lagna is benefic. What we want is from Lagna, which planets are benefic where. So what you can do is, Alt PCV, references related to calculations, Ashtakavarga. You can select V or Ashtakavarga calculation options. In that, the first one, basically check that, reverts the Ashtakavarga meaning as far as references are concerned. And later, remember to uncheck it. This is basically just for convenience of referring to the table. So that you don't have to memorize whether Jupiter in the 5th house from Sun is benefic or malefic. Or whether Saturn in the 1st house from Sun is benefic or malefic. So, if you do that, if you check this, see, you can read the expression here. What?
One more time. How do you get to that?
Preferences related to calculations, Ashtakavarga calculation options. Okay? In the dialog box, the very first checkbox, reverse the Ashtakavarga meaning as far as references are concerned. Check that. This is just for convenience. This is not how you should operate the software normally. Okay? So now, if this is unchecked, which is the default, count in a sign in the behavior of a planet shows the number of references from which the planet is benefic in that sign. So in Moon's Ashtakavarga, if you see, in Aries you see Sun and Mars. That means from Sun and from Mars in the natal chart, Moon is benefic in Aries. It shows where the planet is benefic. So when a planet is transiting in a sign, you can say, okay, right now Jupiter is in Aries. Aries has, in the Bhinnashtakavarga, let's say 6. That means from 6 references, Jupiter is benefic. So current transit of Jupiter is good because from 6 out of 8 references he is strong. So that is how BAV is shown, and also PAV correspondingly. It shows when Jupiter is in that particular sign, What are the references which he is enriching, from which he is benefiting? So those areas of life, basically whatever those references stand for, like soul, mind, energy, pleasure, like that basically. You can see which are the references that are strengthened by Jupiter's transit. But the thing is, right now what I want the reverse. So if you reverse, if this option is checked, count in a sign in the behavior of a planet shows the number of planets that are benefit from the planet in that sign. So basically, in this, from the natal position of the planet that you have chosen in the Ashtavarga, in the natal chart, wherever the sign, whatever sign the planet occupies, from that it shows which planets are benefiting in that house.
Right.
It basically it reverses the meaning. So if in that case, if Moon's Ashtavarga, let's say Jupiter's Ashtavarga has 6 in Aries, it doesn't mean anything. What it means is, in Aries, 6 planets are strong with respect to basic Jupiter, natal Jupiter. So if you, but the thing is, why I want to do that is, now go to Lagna's PAV. After doing that, so Alt PCV, check the first checkbox, and then go to Lagna's PAV, PAV of Lagna, show PAV of Lagna, which is at the end. Okay?
PAV of Lagna, yeah.
Now, basically, what you can do is, in this chart, it basically shows Virgo in grey, right? Because that is the sign containing Lagna in the natal Rashi chart.
Yes.
Right? Now, we don't want to change it to D24 or anything. Basically, we want the houses. We just want the table. So, what it means is, in the first house from Lagna, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus and Saturn are benefit. In the second house from Lagna, Mercury, Jupiter and Venus are only those 3 benefits are benefit, natural benefit. In the third house, you will see Lagna, Sun, Moon, Mars, Venus and Saturn, right? So those are the 6 planets who are benefiting in the third house from Lagna, and so on. Okay? So you can see, suppose Saturn is in Lagna, is it benefic or malefic in Ashtavarga? You want to see the grey sign, grey sign which is Virgo in this case, take that as the first house and see if Saturn there is mentioned or not. You understand my point? So, for example, in the 12th house, which are the only planets who are benefic? Sun. Okay? So if Sun in the Sudarshan Chakradasha Pravesha Chakra is in the 12th house from the Dasha sign. Dasha sign meaning Lagna based Dasha sign, not Moon or Sun based Dasha sign. From the progress Lagna in the Sudarshan Chakradasha, if Sun is in the 12th house, he is actually good in the Ashtavarga. He is well placed from that reference. So the thing is, you use the progress reference instead of natal reference. Use the progress Lagna, progress Moon and progress Sun as the reference, but use Ashtavarga.
So the chart remains the same. I mean, which planet is beneficial and not
this is not a matter of chart. This is basically you are using this particular. This is a chart. Ideally, you should memorize this. From Lagna, from Moon and from Sun. Probably all of you know by heart, at least in the case of Moon, because Moon we use Gochara, right? Mars, Saturn are benefiting 3, 6, 11. Jupiter in 2, like 5, 7, 9, 11. Like that we know basically. Venus in 2, we know the table, right? 6, 8, 7, 8, like 7, 8, 9, like that. So we basically, for Lagna and Sun also, if you memorize, you don't have to do this. This is just a shortcut that I personally use, because I am lazy to memorize.
Sir, if you are considering from with respect to Sun, then you look at the natal occupancy of Sun.
Yeah. Let's go there. So Sun, if you say change the PAV of Sun, it shows Pisces in grey, right?
PAV of Sun. Yes, sir.
So what it shows is from the natal Sun, who's in Pisces. That is why it is grey for your convenience. From natal Sun in Pisces, which planets are benefic when transiting a particular sign? So Sun, Jupiter and Saturn are benefic when transiting in Pisces itself. Sun, they are benefic in Aries also.
Right.
In Taurus, Lagna, Moon, Mars and Jupiter are benefic. Okay? So what you do is, in the Dasha Pravesha Chakra, from Sun, the progression, not from Pisces, but from the progression of the Dasha Pravesha Chakra, which is basically the Dasha sign, the third Dasha sign. From that, if the third house contains Lagna, Moon or Mars or Jupiter, you say they are benefic. And so on. Okay? So basically from each reference, there are certain positions that are good for a planet, certain positions that are bad for a planet. So from the natal, instead of natal, all we are doing is progress. Progress Lagna, Moon and Sun, we are using the Ashtavarga and we are seeing, Okay, in the Dasha Pravesakra, out of these 9 planets are including Lagna, out of these 10 references, so many are benefic.
Sir, hypothetically, you can also draw PAV with respect to the progressed Lagna, Moon and Sun.
Yeah, you can.
But that doesn't have anything to do with what we are thinking.
No.
So Ashtaka Varga is basically looking at what you have in your natal horoscope and trying to extrapolate it over the progressed...
This is not even natal. We are using the table. See, if you...
It's a reference.
This is just a reference. Instead, you could write down a table from Lagna, from Moon, Sun. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Lagna, Moon, Sun. And write down the list of planets which are benefic in that house from that reference. You can write it down and you can refer to that. This is just a shortcut.
It's like a table, you know.
Yeah, this is just like a table. Okay. So,
If I can...
So basically this has nothing to do with natal chart. What we are doing is, from the progress Lagna, progress Moon and progress Sun, we are seeing whether a particular planet is benefic or malefic using the Ashtavarga rules. Okay? We are using the Ashtavarga rules of Lagna, Moon and Sun for progress Lagna, progress Moon and progress Sun.
This is called Prastara.
Prastara Ashtavarga shows basically the complete list of planets which are benefic or from which a planet is benefic. Vice versa, reverse basically. So let's go back.
Sir, if you,
Yes.
if you can spend one more minute.
Yes, go ahead.
In the preferences, if you change the calculation options back to remove the uncheck sign.
Yeah.
And then say okay. Now could you explain us
What this
means?
Yeah. Now, if you, let's say we have Sun's Prastara Ashtavarga, right?
Yes, sir.
So, in Pisces you have grey because that is what Sun occupies in natal chart. But the thing is, Sun, Mercury and Jupiter, Venus are mentioned there.
Okay.
What it means is, when Sun is transiting in Pisces every year,
Okay.
he is benefic with respect to Sun, Mercury, Jupiter and Venus. The transit of Sun, transiting Sun in Pisces is benefic with respect to Sun, Mercury, Jupiter and Venus. Of course, the natal Sun also. The natal Sun is also benefic with respect to those 4 references. Okay? Now,
So no matter where those planets are.
based on the natal positions of those planets. This table is found based on the natal positions of those planets. From natal Sun, natal Mercury, natal Jupiter and natal Venus, from them, in this particular Rasi chart, Sun is benefic when transiting in Pisces. Okay? So in this chart, if you see, when Sun is transiting Sagittarius, that is where maximum number of points are, right? 6. So from Lagna, Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury and Saturn, from all those references, Sun is benefic.
Currently Jupiter is transiting Aries.
Yeah. So in that case, go to Jupiter's PAV.
Oh, I see.
So PAV of Jupiter. Okay?
So it is. So this reference is benefic with respect to Mercury, Mars, and Sun.
With respect to Sun, Mars, Mercury and Jupiter. Okay? Sun, Mars, Mercury and Jupiter. Atmabala, energy and learning ability and intelligence. Those aspects of my personality are being enriched by current transiting Jupiter. Okay? But if you look at the natal Jupiter, he was enriching Lagna, Sun, Moon, Mars and Jupiter. Okay, that was the natal position, right? If you want to do this from D24, show AV of this divisional chart. Instead of Rasi, select for example D24.
Okay.
Siddhamsha. Okay? Then it will show from the
Siddhamta position of Jupiter.
it is showing the Siddhanta position of Jupiter. But the thing is, if you want to judge current transit Jupiter in Aries, see Aries. In Aries, who is he benefit from? Only Lagna and Venus. So, like this you can see. And where is he most benefit? When he is in Scorpio, he is benefit with respect to all references. And when he goes to Taurus later, he is benefit with respect to 5 references. But the thing is, sometimes, if you are looking for marriage, being benefit from Venus is more important than anything else. So even if a planet is transiting in a sign where it is benefit with respect to 6 planets out of 8, if Venus is not included, that may not be a good transit. You understand? So, yeah. So for marriage, Venus Ashtavarga, from Venus, transit from Venus, whether it's benefic or malefic, should be important. Similarly, for other matters, for education, from Mercury, for intelligence, children, from Jupiter, and so on.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, no problem. So, Let us go back to Lagna Sevi, Prastha Rashtravarga. So I will not refer to all this process. All I will mention is Jupiter is placed in the 9th house from natal Lagna, which is a benefic position. I will not explain how I arrived at it, but you can basically, you don't have to change it back to Rasi again. Keep this D24, you can keep this D24 as long as you check the thing. Check the first one, okay? Now, it will show, if you show Lagna Prastha Rashtravarga of D24, let us say, it will show D24, see, it will show the same thing. Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn in the first house are benefic. Mercury, Jupiter, Venus are benefic in the second house and so on. It will show exactly Lagna, Sun, Moon, Mars, Venus, Saturn are benefic in the third house. Exactly the same planets will be shown as being benefic, as we saw earlier. So whether you see for Rasi, D24, when you reverse the meaning, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay? This is just a table, lookup table. Okay, so Jupiter in the 9th house is benefic, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. And what about Venus in the 5th house from Lagna?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Venus is benefic actually from Lagna, 1st house, 2nd house, 3rd house, 4th house, 5th house. 6th is not benefic, 7th is not benefic, but 8th is benefic, 9th benefic, 10th not benefic, 11th benefic, 12th. 12th not benefic. That is basically benefic positions of Venus with respect to Lagna. So here, in this chart, from progress Lagna in Scorpio, Venus is where? Actually, we have to... Yeah. No, make the Dasha Pravesh Chakra. No. Make the Dasha Pravesh Chakra in D24. Yeah, he is in the 10th house. But why am I looking at Venus? I don't really care about Venus.
Jupiter, sir.
Jupiter is in the 9th house. No, I care about Saturn. Saturn is in the 5th house. Okay? He is a male fake, but the thing is, he is 4th lord in the 5th house. He is connecting a quadrant with that trine. 4th house of education, he is connecting with the 5th house of fame. So that is a good thing. But the thing is he benefic or malefic?
The benefit.
No, in the 5th house from Lagna.
Oh, not a benefit.
Not benefic, right? So if you look at 5th house, only Jupiter and Venus are benefic. No other planet is benefic in the house of intelligence from Lagna. So Saturn is ill placed there. So suppose Saturn was well placed, it would have been good basically. So Saturn is not really doing much there. Suppose Jupiter was not there, just Saturn, Jupiter is not really strong. Then you would have judged based on Saturn. And then because Saturn is not strong, you would have basically, even though he is giving a kind of yoga, connection of 4th and 5th houses, he is not strong. So that yoga given by Saturn is not really that useful. You understand the point? Okay. Now, let us see.
Why we are looking at Saturn there?
Because 5th house, apart from the Lord, I want to see how the 5th house itself is. So, any planets aspecting it or occupying it, I want to look at them and see and whether they are strong there or bad there. So, Saturn is there, 4th Lord in the 5th house, which is a good placement for 4th Lord, especially when you are looking at education. The 4th house of education is Lord in the 5th house of recognition. That is good. But the Saturn is not strong. He is not well placed from Lagna. So, I will ignore that. There is a Rajoga in Lagna. Lagna itself is good for fame. Lagna Lord and 10th Lord are together. Sun and Lagna, Mars. Are they well placed or ill placed? Well, first of all, they are in a friendly sign. Sun is in a friendly sign, Mars is in own sign. Oh, by the way, own sign. Lagna contains a planet in own sign. That is also very good. Now, in Ashtavarga, if you see, Sun is not well placed in Lagna, but Mars is benefic from Lagna in the first house. In the first house from Lagna. So, basically Lagna Lord in Lagna, in own sign and also in a benefic sign based on Ashtavarga, well placed in Ashtavarga. So that is good. So Lagna and 5th house are strengthened. Okay? Now let us see from progress moon. Go to moon's Ashtavarga. Go to the Ashtavarga of moon and go to Sagittarius as the reference. From Sagittarius as reference, how is Lagna, how is 5th house, how is Lagna, how is 5th house?
Lagna has 8th Lord.
Lagna has 8th Lord. Is he well placed or badly placed there?
He is well placed.
He is well placed. So normally you would say Lagna in 8th Lord in Lagna is not a great placement, but he is benefic there. So he may show some sudden good event. 8th house shows suddenness. because he's a benefic, he's having a benefic transit in the first house from progress moon. The transit moon in the Dasha Chakra, he actually shows some good events. Okay. Now, how about Jupiter? He is badly placed. Lagna Lord, Jupiter, he is badly placed in the 8th house. Right?
Right, yes.
The only thing is, but he is exalted. So, one way he is strong, but the other way he is weak. So, it basically compensates. But the thing is, it's not bad. Now, 5th house. How is the 5th house?
Lord in the 12th.
5th Lord is in?
The 12th house.
Yeah.
From moon.
Yeah.
And he is not strong.
He is not strong.
5th Lord is not benefic. Strong is a different. Don't use the word strong. Use benefic benefic.
Okay.
5th Lord is not benefic. He is not a benefic from progress moon, but he is in moon sign. So the thing is, based on Ashtavarga, it's not adding up, but at least the 5th Lord is in moon sign. Now, what else? Yeah, that's it. So, are there any yogas, any important yogas? Well, 5th Lord and 9th Lord are together. But neither of them is strong in benefic in Ashtavarga. But there is a overall 5th house and 1st house are involved in yogas, but the planets are not really benefic. But moon is benefic in the 1st house. Now let's go to sun, progress sun in Aries. From Aries, how are things? Again, the 5th Lord. How is, go to Sun's Ashtavarga by the way, to judge it. Okay. How is the 5th house? 5th Lord is in a friendly sign. Right? 5th Lord is in a friendly sign with Lagna Lord. Lagna Lord and 5th Lord are together.
Right.
That's the Rajoga. But the thing is any of them benefit? So from Sun, progress Sun in Aries,
Sun is benefic.
they are in the 8th house. Sun is benefic in the 8th house from himself. Mars is not. So the thing is, Lagna Lord in the 8th house is not benefic, but 5th Lord in the 8th house is benefic. So even though 5th Lord is in the 8th house, because he is benefic, he is basically giving good results relating to 5th house. Because he is in the 8th house, maybe something unexpected, something sudden. So 5th Lord is beneficially placed and also in a friendly sign. Had he been exalted or in Mola Trikona, it would have been even better. But at least he is in a friendly sign with a friend giving Rajoga and he is benefic. How about Lagna? Well, Lagna Lord, as we already said, is okay. How about are there any other interesting combinations? See, Jupiter is exalted in the 4th house of education. Is he well placed or badly placed?
Not well placed.
You think so? He is actually.
Well
He
placed.
is one.
Jupiter is well placed. So Jupiter is well placed in the 4th house. So 4th house of education has an exalted planet. So overall you see, when you look at the 5th house and Lagna and 4th house, you see good combinations, either yogas or exalted planets or planet in own sign. You see those, and several of them are actually beneficially placed. So this is basically a good year, and it can show, because of the prominent 5th house in the Dasha Pravesh Chakra, it can show some academic distinction during the academic success during the year. Now the thing is, if you want to judge the Antardashas, what you have to do is, in the Dasha Pravesh Chakra, see where Lagna, Moon and Sun are. So Virgo,
Scorpio and Sagittarius.
Virgo, Scorpio and Sagittarius. So that will be the reference. Now go to the Antardasha, the second Antardasha we are interested, May 5 to June 6. Right? So May 5 to June 6. So that will be the second. So second from Virgo, Scorpio,
And Sagittarius.
Virgo, Sagittarius, Scorpio. Those are the three. Virgo, Sagittarius, Scorpio. Lagna, Moon and Sun. So, right? Yeah, Virgo, Sagittarius, Scorpio. So second house from them is Libra, Capricorn, Scorpio.
Capricorn and
Scorpio. No, Sagittarius. Libra, Capricorn and Sagittarius. So Lagna, Moon and Sun. Libra, Capricorn and Sagittarius. So from Libra, is there anything interesting happening? From Libra.
Lord in the 5th house.
From Libra, 5th Lord is in the 5th house with the 9th Lord. So, that is good. So, 5th house of recognition contains its Lord in Mola Trikona. Now, the thing is, he is not benefic in Ashtakavarga. If you see the Ashtakavarga, neither of them is benefic. But the thing is, when a planet is exalted or in Mulatrikona or in one sign, that really trumps. The planet is really strong. Whereas if a planet is just in a friendly sign or Adhimitra Rasi, then you also insist on good score in Ashtakavarga. So this is how, he didn't say basically you have to have both. He said basically combine the Ashtakavarga with Sudarshan Chakravarga to get better clarity. So, fifth house is quite strong. As a matter of fact, moon is also very, if you see moon, right, he's in the 11th house. 10th lord. So 10th lord and 5th lord basically, and 9th lord. There is a Raj Yoga on the 5th house axis. So this is even more powerful than the annual chart yogas that you have seen, right? The 10th lord, the 5th lord and the 9th lord are in one axis. And moon, by the way, is not in Mula Trikona or anything, but he is benefic in the Ashtavaga, 11th house. If you see the Ashtavaga of Lagna, you will see that moon is benefic in 11th house. So moon is benefic and Saturn is in Mula Trikona. So 10th lord and 5th lord Rajoga is there. So that basically is nice. And how is the Lagna itself? It's not aspected by any planet. Actually, it is aspected by Mars. Right? Lagna is aspected by Mars. So the key is, if a sign is occupied, give some importance to the occupant, otherwise aspector, finally Lord. Unless Lord is really powerful, then you can say, okay, this house is strong. So here, there is no occupant, and the aspector is Mars. Mars is the only one aspecting this fifthful aspect, right? With 8 aspect, Mars in Pisces. He is in 6th house, and 60 is good for Mars from Lagna. So a planet beneficially placed is aspecting Lagna. So that is good, based on Ashtavaga. Now, Lagna Lord Venus, he is like Kendra. He is ill-associated, he is with Jupiter, that's not good. But both of them are benefics in Ashtavaga. Right? So Lagna Lord is in a Kendra with another planet and both of them are benefics. So Lagna is basically strong. It is aspected by a planet who is benefic in Ashtavaga, and its Lord is benefic in Ashtavaga and with another benefic. So overall Lagna is quite strong and 5th house has nice yogas going for it. So from Lagna this is awesome. From moon, progress moon, which is in Capricorn. How are things from Capricorn? Go to moon's Ashtavaga to see benefic and malefic positions in Ashtavaga. How are things from Capricorn? Are there any interesting things from 5th house? Anything going on with the 5th house?
5th lord is in the
5th house is in Lagna, which is okay.
He is benefic.
He is benefic, okay. So 5th lord is in the Lagna, is in a friendly sign. He is in Adhimitra Rasi, not even friendly, super friendly sign. So 5th lord is in Lagna, is in Adhimitra Rasi, and he is benefic. But the thing is, he is spoiled by Jupiter. His position with Jupiter is not good. But at least 5th lord is in an Adhimitra Rasi, in a benefic. Ashtavaga is benefic. And how is Lagna? Well, Lagna lord he is not benefic, but he is in Mula Trikona. And he is with the 9th lord. And that 9th lord is benefic. Okay? So overall, Lagna lord is in a nice Rajoga. Lagna, 9th or, and of 7th lord moon is also there. So overall, but he is not benefic. So overall, the strength of Venus and Saturn, he is basically making it positive. Lagna and 5th house are both quite strong during this year. Okay? Now, let us look at the sun. Progress sun we said is in Sagittarius. So from Sagittarius, let's go to sun's Ashtavaga to judge the positions of planets from sun. So from Sagittarius, what is anything interesting with the 5th house, 4th house, 1st house?
9th lord is in sun, 9th lord is in the Lagna itself.
9th lord is in Lagna, that shows some blessings, and he is actually in an Adhimitra Rasi, and he is benefic. 1st house transit from sun is good for sun. So sun is basically, 9th lord is having a very benefic transit, right? And how about Lagna lord? Lagna lord is debilitated, but he is benefic. So Lagna lord, even though he is debilitated, he is benefic, so that kind of compensates for it. And if you see the 5th house, what is the strength of 5th house? 5th house, unless it is strong, from this also, success doesn't make sense. 5th house, 5th is unoccupied.
5th lord is not benefic.
5th lord is not benefic, and he is in a Kendra, that is good. He is in an Adhimitra Rasi, that is good, but he is not benefic. Just being in Adhimitra Rasi doesn't cut it. Being in Adhimitra Rasi, but being malefic in the Ashtavaga, but in a Kendra. 5th lord in a Kendra is good. So overall it's neutral. It's not really like great. So what really, are there any aspects? Like I said earlier, occupants are most important, then aspectors, and finally lords. Unless lord is so powerful, either positively or negatively, that he clinches the deal. Unless one of the aspectors are occupants, see that regular order is occupant, then aspector, then lord. But somebody who comes later in the order, if he is really so negative or so positive, he can dominate. But here Mars is not that negative, but he is not so positive that he will give the result. So, anybody else?
Mars is benefiting in the Astravakra, right?
No, he is not. From Sun, he is in the 4th house. If you look at 4th house from Sun, Lagna, Jupiter and Saturn are the benefits.
I look from this chart because you cannot. Every time I have to calculate the houses to see.
Yeah.
In North Indian style.
Oh, see here. If you want, you can come and see.
No, that's
Because he may be confused, he may be clicking the wrong things. If you see here, you will know for sure.
okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Did you get it from in the Sun Ashtavarga?
Yes.
From the grey sign, if you see, the 4th house will show Lagna, Sun, Jupiter, Saturn.
Okay. I see fourth. I was looking at fourth house. If Mars is there.
No,
Mars and
from
Mercury.
Sagittarius is in the 4th house.
Okay.
From Sagittarius, in the Dasha Pravesh, Antardasha Pravesh Chakra,
Right.
Mars is in Pisces, Saturn, Mercury in Aquarius,
Right.
Venus, Jupiter in Capricorn, right? So,
Then if I go to the Astavagra in the fourth house from Sagittarius, right?
not from Sagittarius. This Ashtavarga is not made for
Oh,
this
I
chart.
see, okay.
For the natal Rashi chart. So look at the grey sign, which is where
Here it is.
it is computed from the grey sign. Grey sign is whatever the grey sign is. Okay, you have making it for D24, that's why. So look in Aquarius then, that is the 4th sign.
Right.
So is Mars present there? No, right?
Okay.
So for Mars, 4th house from Sun is not beneficial. In other words, for energy, the 4th house of comfort from the soul is not a benefic house. Only 3rd, 5th, 6th, and 10th and 11th. These are the benefic houses for Mars from Sun. Okay. Now, so are there any aspects on the full aspects on the 5th house? We can take 3/4 also, but I prefer full aspects. Are there any full aspects? Shani. You guys forgot Shani.
Third aspect.
Shani is aspecting by 3rd aspect. He is not benefic in the Ashtavarga, but the thing is, he is...
You are looking at Mars, sir.
Huh?
You are looking at the Lord, not the...
Yeah. So look at the
Lord of Lord. Fifth house.
5th house. So looking at the 5th house, a planet in the Mula Trikona is aspecting it. Okay? A planet in the Mula Trikona is aspecting. So that makes the 5th house strong. So basically, either a planet in the Mula Trikona or a planet giving a nice yoga is involved with the 5th house from all the 3 references. And like we said earlier, Lagna is quite powerful. Contains the 9th Lord and its Lord is benefic in the 2nd house and so on. So overall, this Antardasha Pravesh Chakra is quite strong. And suppose you were to look at the Pratyantardasha Pravesh Chakra to see a 2.5 day period, then what you would do is remember Lagna, Sun and Moon in this Antardasha Pravesh Chakra, which is Scorpio, Leo, Sagittarius. Scorpio, Leo, Sagittarius. Remember that, okay?
Scorpio, Leo.
You remember Scorpio, you remember Leo, you remember Sagittarius.
I am writing down.
You will write it down, okay? Actually, it's easy to remember. Scorpio, Leo, Sagittarius. So, go to the Antardasha, click on the Antardasha, get the Pratyantardasha in it. So, May 28 evening. So, that will be the 9th one. Right? 9th Antardasha. It will be shown in the software as Gemini, but we will recompute. Right? The 9th of the Pratyantardasha from May 26 evening to May 29 morning. Okay? 2.5 days. So, if you click the entry chart of this period, this will be the Pratyantardasha Pravesh Chakra. This will show how things will be during those 2.5 days. This will basically show God's view of those 2.5 days in that particular area of life. So, go to Lagna's PAV and where is the progress Lagna? We have to take the 9th house. So 9th house from progress Lagna was No, Lagna in Antardasha Pravesh Chakra was Scorpio. Moon was in Leo and Sun was in Sagittarius. So from the ninth house from Scorpio is Cancer. So look at Cancer. So from Cancer, how are things?
Cancer has
So from Cancer.
9.
Yeah.
Fourth lord in fourth house.
9th house has good combination, sir. And Saturn, which is in the
Ninth house has
very good combination of Mars and
Sun. Yeah.
I don't know if it is beneficial or not.
Yeah. Probably not.
No.
Not beneficial, sir. And Saturn is actually affecting the Lagna.
Yeah.
And Saturn is in its own sign.
Yeah.
And once again, Saturn is not beneficial.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we judge? First, look at the fourth house of education, and basically fourth house is also the house of happiness. So if you look at the fourth house is very strong because if Lord is occupying it in a Mula Trikona, and he is benefiting the Ashtavarga. So fifth house is awesome. And moreover, there is a Rajoga between ninth Lord and the fourth Lord. Ninth Lord Jupiter is in 10th house. And he is actually...
He is aspecting the fourth house also.
Yeah, they are in Samsaptaka. Ninth Lord in the 10th house and fourth Lord in 4th house are in Samsaptaka. And both of them are benefiting Ashtavarga. So there is a Rajoga between 9th house and 4th house. So some fortune relating to education. Now, okay, so that is one thing. And the other thing is, 9th house itself has two planets. They are both malefic, but both of them are in, malefic meaning they are placed in the Ashtavarga, but both of them are in Admitra Rasi. So two planets in Admitra Rasi, they are not super strong, but they are not bad either. They are really strong. Now,
and they have an aspect of the Mars has an aspect on the fourth house.
Mars has an aspect on fourth house, but fifth house, who's
Mars?
What are the influences on fifth house? There is no aspect, full aspect. There is only 3/4 aspect from Jupiter. So Jupiter, like we said earlier, he is giving a Rajoga. Actually, there is one more Rajoga that you haven't seen. Apart from 4th Lord, 9th Lord, Samsaptaka, 9th and 10th Lord Parvartana is there. Mars and Jupiter. 9th Lord and 10th Lord have a Parvartana, right? 9th Lord Mars in 10th house, 10th Lord Mars in 9th house. Sometimes we talk about Parvartana when 9th Lord is in 10th house, 10th Lord other sign. 10th Lord may own two signs. So 9th Lord may be occupying another sign of 10th Lord. Still we say it's Parvartana, but here it's a proper Parvartana. 9th Lord is in 10th, 10th Lord is in 9th. So this is a proper Dharma Karmadhipati Parivartana basically, Parivartana Yoga. Parivartana based Dharma Karmadhipati Yoga. So that is also very fortunate combination. So anyway, so Jupiter is involved in several Rajogas, the 9th Lord of Fortune and Lucky Break, and he is aspecting, it's only 3/4 aspect, but he is aspecting the 5th house of fame. Moreover, he is a dispossessor of the 5th Lord. So has a strong link with the 5th house. So even though 5th Lord is not benefic, at least he is in Advita Rasi. He is well placed in an Advita Rasi and then he is involved in Rajogas. So one of the planets involved in Rajogas is aspecting the 5th house. Now how about Moon? Progress Moon, where were the progress Moon we said? From Leos or Aries. So see from Aries. Are there any Rajogas with respect to Aries?
9th Lord in Lagna.
Yeah.
Jupiter.
9th Lord is in Lagna. Is he well placed? Not really. For Jupiter, 9th house is Lagna is not a well placed, good placement. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Unless you memorize it. So actually, if you see this, none of the planets is well placed in the Ashtavarga.
Right.
Pretty much. Only Moon himself is well placed in the 3rd house from Moon. So Ashtavarga wise, there is no strength. But let's see, are there any nice yogas or any planets in moon signs, etc. So 9th Lord in Lagna in an Advita Rasi, right? And how about the 5th Lord?
Lord is in the 12th house.
He is in 12th house, but he is also in an Advita Rasi. So 9th Lord, Lagna Lord and 5th Lord. All the three trine lords are placed in Admitra Rasi. Okay. So, but the thing is,
neither of them are beneficial.
no planet is actually benefic. But the thing is, the only planet who is benefic from moon is Mercury in the third house. Mercury with moon in the third house. Sorry, not Mercury, moon. Moon in the third house is a benefit. Moreover, third lord is in the third house. Right? The third lord is in the third house. So basically, third is very powerful. Okay. Now what else? What else do you want to see?
Fifth lord.
Yeah. So fifth is basically, if Lord is involved in a Rajoga with the Lagna Lord. So there are Rajogas and planets are in Agnitra Rasis, but the thing is, Ashtoga wise things are not adding up. Now, but another thing is, the 10th house has 10th Lord. See, we saw a Rajoga in the 10th house from Lagna. Now from Moon also we have a Rajoga in the 10th house from Lagna. So this is basically showing some event relating to 10th house. But one house that is really standing out is, the only house that has a benefic planet in Ashtavarga is third house. And moreover, it is occupied by its own Lord. And from Lagna, progress Lagna in Cancer also, the third house, right? It is empty and its Lord is in one sign. From Lagna, its Lord is in one sign. He is not well placed in Ashtavarga, but he is at least in one sign. So, third Lord is in one sign from Lagna and from Moon. From Sun also you will see, where is progress Sun? Leo.
Yeah, Leo.
From Leo, the third Lord in third. So, basically third Lord in third. Third shows communication, energy, etc. So, it shows being in, see, this is just a 2-day window. And this ends on 29th morning. So, the news came in the evening news basically, that I used to state first, it was on radio. In the evening news basically they announced the state rankers. So at 7 o'clock the news came and a few people in the town came and congratulated me. But the thing is, the news actually reached more people in the next batch of disaster. So this is actually more than, even though fifth house is good, it is basically the stress is on the third house, 10th house, etc. The third house shows some good communication relating to education, etc. Now let us look at the Sun. From progress Sun in Leo, again the fifth lord is in 9th house and Lagna lord and 9th lord are together. And all of them are in Adhivita Rasis. And here the Lagna lord is actually well placed. Actually Jupiter is also well placed. So from progress Sun, Jupiter and Sun are well placed. So Lagna lord and fifth lord are well placed in the Ashtavarga, and there is a Rajoga involving Lagna Lord and 9th Lord and 4th Lord, and also 5th Lord is in the 9th house. Are there any other influences on the first house? The first house is aspected by Jupiter. He is well placed in the 9th house, in the Ashtavarga also. And 5th house is aspected by Mercury and Moon. Mercury and Moon. Right? Are they well placed? They are well placed in the 11th house. Correct. So, and one of them is actually very powerful, being in own sign. So a planet in own sign, good in Ashtavarga, is aspecting the 5th house. So 5th house is very strong this way. So overall, Saturn is in the 6th house. But the thing is, we didn't see anything interesting with 6th house in the other references. We saw 3rd house being strong in all the 3 references. We saw 10th house strong in all the references. Here also 10th lord is in own sign. So, Moola Trikona. So 10th is dominating, 3rd is dominating of some news or some energy basically, being energetic and being charged up, that is 3rd house, and 10th house basically some activity in the society. Basically activity in the society meaning several people came and congratulated me that night, and basically I was seeing people. Relating to my academic accomplishment, I'm not really a people's person. I never meet people. I was studying in Nagarjuna Sagar. I came home for the summer vacation. I was home most of the time. Maybe I met 5 or 6 people in the whole summer, and that particular day I met so many people. That is basically 10th house, meeting people. But the thing is, the Lagna 5th and 9th are involved in Rajogas with respect to all of them. So you see that this is basically, you see some good combinations. But if you were to tell, Compared to the annual chart, monthly chart showed it much better. The combinations were much cleaner. And compared to that, percentage chart was actually lower, if you ask me. The thing is, during those 2.5 days, this happened towards the end basically. The news came, I slept, and the next morning the Pratyamrita Dasha is over. It's the very next Pratyamrita Dasha. So the thing is, during these 2.5 days, this wasn't really a big deal. It just happened at the end, and it didn't really fully sink in also what this means. Whereas in the Antardasha, this happened and also the other thing, selected for IIT happened. So during that month, basically this is like a big high. And during the year also this is a big high, but the thing is during that month this is really a big deal. But during those 2.5 days, this may or may not really, it was okay basically. It didn't really fully sink in when the event happened.
No, but one thing is that the event to happen.
Yeah.
So that must have been cooked before also, right? That whole thing.
That is true, but you can't really look at that. So you see what is when the news comes to you, when you get married, when a child actually is born, when you get a news of promotion, you basically see during these 2.5 days, during this period, I was happy, right? Getting into education, I felt very cheerful that I stood still first. So that is shown here. Let me take another example.
No, my point is how to point to that particular event.
Yeah, that is why I said, basically, you are seeing that there is some academic success or fame or Christos is dominating. If you look at the annual chart, monthly chart and the 2.5 day chart, the 5th house, 9th house, these houses are showing up. So it shows fortune, it shows recognition, etc. So if you are looking at a chart blindly in future, what you will see is, are there any exalted planets, any planets in own sign, any planets aspecting own signs? This is what we did yesterday in the last class with Rami, right? So you see, and then what are the signs aspected by them, occupied by them, and then try to find common factors. Like, okay, from this reference, 9th is strong. In that case, forget Ashtavarga. Ashtavarga is used to reinforce strong combinations, etc. So go to Ashtavarga in the second level of analysis. First level of analysis, just identify strong planets, also strong yogas. Lagna Lord, 9th Lord together, 8th Lord, 9th Lord together, bad yoga, like that. Identify good and bad yogas, and then see the common factor from 2 of the 3 references or all the 3 references. If something is showing up with respect to all the 3 references, that means there is something going on there. Okay. Let me see, for example, my one more event. We'll do it very quickly this time. Go to D10. Sudarshan Prasad of D10. Okay. So during this year, I was in 2002 August 12, 2002, I was laid off. The startup that I was working for, they basically went into hibernation mode. They laid off most people. They just kept a couple of quality testing engineers, and they laid off most engineers. And I lost my job. I found a job again within a month, but the thing is, for a while I was out of job. This was my first layoff. So 2002 August. So the Dasha will be Taurus, Cancer, Capricorn. 2002 April 5. That is when it starts. Okay. So go to the entry chart. Go to the entry chart. Yeah. So from Taurus, the progress Lagna first. How are things? First, the thing is... Yeah. No, one second. From Taurus, 4th Lord is in Lagna, very correct. See, 6th house of service and 10th house of work. Yeah. See, are there any bad combinations with respect to those? Like the planet, the Lord exalted or involved in a bad yoga, etc. So 6th house contains Gurjandal yoga. 8th Lord is there with the 10th Lord. So 10th Lord and 8th Lord being together is not good. Moreover, they are forming Gurjandal yoga. So some setback in the career is possible during the year. This is from Lagna. Let's see from the moon also. Progress moon is in Cancer. Right? The 6th Lord Jupiter is involved with Gurjandal yoga. 6th and 8th lords are together in a Kendra. That is not good. That's not Viparita Raj Yoga. So, and the 10th house is containing Ketu, but more than that, Jupiter Rahu are aspecting it. So, Guru Chandala Yoga is aspecting the 10th house. Right? So, there is an involvement of Guru Chandala Yoga on the 6th and 10th house from Lagna and Moon. So, two references agree. From the third reference, which is Capricorn.
This Capricorn, once again 10th
contains Guru Chandala Yoga to malefics. Okay? But the thing is, so there is some disturbance. But let us see how is the chart overall. Let's see, for example, from Sun, let's continue. How is the 10th Lord? 10th contains a bad combination, but the thing is the 10th Lord. How is 10th Lord? 10th Lord is in 7th. Is he well placed? No.
He's not well placed.
He is not well placed.
6th Lord
Yeah. But the 6th house of service. The 6th Lord. So 10th is the work that you accomplish. But the 6th Lord is service. And the 6th Lord is?
Mercury.
He is well placed in the Ashtavarga and he is in own sign. So 6th house is quite strong. From Sun. From Moon, Cancer. From Moon, Progress Moon, Cancer. How is the 6th house? Well, if Lord is bad, but the thing is, if there are any occupants or aspectors, you can give importance to them, right?
Mercury, Moon and Saturn.
Mercury, Moon and Saturn are in the 12th house. None of them is well placed, but Mercury is in own sign. So a planet in own sign giving Vimala Yoga, he is aspecting 6th house. So he can assure that there is some livelihood. The 6th house is basically not completely ruined. So he is basically the safeguard. And from Lagna, Progress Lagna, which is in Taurus, how is the 6th house? 6th Lord Venus. 6th Lord is in 3rd house. Is he well placed or ill placed? 3rd house from Lagna, is it good or bad for Venus?
Good.
It is good. It is a benefit placement. So the 6th Lord is well placed. Are there any aspects? No aspects. So occupant and then Lord. Mars aspecting. Oh, you are talking about the 6th Lord. I am talking about 6th house. Are there any aspects on the 6th house? No aspects. So the thing is the 6th Lord. So even though occupants are bad, the Lord is okay. So overall, it's not like career basically gets stuck. So within a few weeks, I found a job. But the thing is, basically things slowed down. This is a year when career slowed down. I found a job, but the thing is there was a slowdown in the career. So like this, basically you can see you try to find things that are common. You find the common factors. Now let me see one more event. Let us see childbirth. D7. August my son was born. Let us see that. Let's see if that shows up. So in the D7 Sudarshan Chakra, 98 August 21 was the birth of my son. So 98 April is when Libra, Sagittarius, Taurus Dasha started. Based on D7 Sudarshan Chakra. So let us go to the Dasha Pravesh Chakra. 98, 99 Sudarshan Chakra Dasha Pravesh Chakra. D7. Okay. So first one is Lagna, let us see. Lagna is Libra. So from Libra, how is the 5th house? Is it empty?
Oh, why give to children?
Children. 5th house and 9th house for general fortune. Basically Lagna, 5th house and 9th house. Lagna Lord is exalted. Right? And 5th Lord. Oh, by the way, 5th Lord and Lagna Lord are together. Lagna Lord and 5th Lord. Not only is 5th Lord, actually Saturn is Yokarka. Right? You see that Saturn is Yokarka, right? So Yokarka and Lagna Lord are together.
His placement is not to be considered here, sir. His placement is not to be considered.
No, it is.
It is to be considered.
Yeah, both. So Lagna Lord and 5th Lord are together giving a Raj Yoga. So Lagna Lord, 5th Lord is always good for childbirth, and one of them is benefic in the Ashtavarga, other one is exalted. Venus is exalted, Saturn is well placed in the 6th house from Lagna. Right? So that is one thing. Moreover, their dispositor Jupiter is exalted. Jupiter is Karka for children, right? So Jupiter is the Karka for children and they are in Jupiter sign and Jupiter is aspecting them and Jupiter is well placed in the Ashtavarga. So an exalted planet is well placed in the Ashtavarga, the Karka, he is aspecting them. Okay, so that is one thing. Are there any other interesting combinations? Not really. I mean, how is the 9th lord? How is the 9th house? 9th house contains Ketu and 9th lord Mercury is with the 11th lord. 9th lord and 11th lord together is good. 11th is gains and 9th is fortune. It shows gain of fortune. And they are in the 4th house. 9th lord and 11th lord are together in the 4th house and that is good for both of them. So 9th lord and 11th lord are well placed in the Ashtavarga. Right?
4th, yes, sir.
Sun and Mercury. They are benefic in the 4th house from Lagna. So there is a good yoga between 9th lord and 11th lord and also there is a good yoga between Lagna lord and 5th lord. 4th by 5th lord. So, and by the way, exalted Jupiter is aspecting all the yogas. So from Lagna things are actually quite good. This is favorable for childbirth. Now, or this is not necessarily childbirth. Childbirth or happy events related to children during the year. Some important events. Focus will be on children. Now, from progress moon in Sagittarius, how are things? Progress moon in Sagittarius.
8th lord in Lagna.
8th lord is in Lagna, that is good. For moon, that is good. Yeah, that shows some, moon will show some good event. And Jupiter is Lagna lord, even though he is not well placed, he is exalted. So Lagna contains a benefic planet, well placed planet, and Lagna lord is exalted. So Lagna is strong. How about the...
Is it Parivartana also, right? Jupiter moon Parivartana.
Oh yeah, there is a Jupiter moon Parivartana. But that Parivartana is not a good yoga. Now, Sun, the 9th lord of fortune, Sun, he is with 10th lord Mercury, 7th and 10th lord Mercury. There is a Rajoga between Sun and Mercury. Are they well placed? Mercury is well placed. Okay, so finally 5th house. How is the 5th house?
5th lord.
Yeah.
In the 4th house.
5th lord is in the 4th house. So he is in a friendly sign.
He is with an exalted planet.
He is with an exalted planet, but it's average. It's not really super. 5th lord is in a friendly sign in a Kendra. 5th lord in a Kendra is good, in a friendly sign is good. Moreover, his dispositor Jupiter is exalted and aspecting him. So that is basically the blessing. Otherwise, 6th house is not really that powerful. The only thing is, it's aspected by 2 planets. 3/4 aspect. There is no full aspect, so if you go for 3/4 aspect on Aries, 2 planets, Sun and Mercury are aspecting. So 2 planets giving a Rajoga are aspecting it. Like I said earlier, when there is no occupant, you can give importance to the aspector. So Sun and Mercury, one of them is actually well placed. In an Ajmitra Rasi, if you look at Mercury, he is in an Ajmitra Rasi and he is benefic in the Ashtavarga. So he basically, he is quite powerful. So that basically is a good blessing for the 5th house. So overall 5th house is actually uplifted by Mercury. By the Jupiter is aspecting him also. And if you see from the progress sun is Taurus. From Taurus, how are things?
5th lord is in the 9th house.
5th lord is in the 9th house. That is, 4th and 5th lords are together in the 9th house. And are they well placed? From Sun, if you look at Sun's Ashtavarga, you will see that the 9th house is actually a good placement for both of them, Sun and Mercury. So 5th lord and 4th lord are together in the 9th house of fortune. That is awesome. And moreover, the 11th lord is aspecting them. Is he well placed? Yes.
He is exalted.
Of course, he is exalted, but also he is in the 3rd house. 3rd is a good placement for Jupiter from Sun. For intellect, the 3rd house of energy, initiative, drive to do things from Atma Bal, from Sun is the Atma, soul, the willpower. So from the Sun of Atma, soul, the 3rd house of initiative, the initiative of the soul, that is actually a good placement for intellect to be. intellect can drive that, it can channel that initiative of the soul very well, the intellect and judgment. So anyway, so for Jupiter, the third house is a good placement from Sun in the Ashtaka. So an exalted planet, well placed, is aspecting this Rajoga between Mercury and Sun, involving the 5th house and 9th house. So that is awesome. Apart from it, the 9th Lord Saturn, he is with the Lagna Lord. And Lagna Lord is exalted. Everybody actually, both the 9th Lord and Lagna Lord are well placed in the 11th house. 11th house is usually good placement for anybody from anybody. So Venus and Saturn, Lagna Lord and 9th Lord are awesomely placed. So from Lagna and from Sun, things are just awesome. From Moon they are average. I mean, they're above, there are some good things, but it's not really like you could have made a prediction based on that. But from...
The 5th house is not standing out.
It wasn't standing out. 9th was okay, 9th was good, Lagna was good, but 5th wasn't standing out as strongly from Moon. But it is standing out quite powerfully in from respect to Lagna and Sun. So that is good enough. Out of two references are really powerful. So when you see such a powerful combination in the chart, you can expect maybe during this year there is a chance of childbirth. So this technique is basically like seeing the forest. It's not like seeing the trees. So you basically see different years, annual charts, and see do things make sense during this year. When you see powerful combinations involving the right houses, you basically say, okay, during this year there is a possibility. So, and then there are other techniques like annual charts, the annual dashas, and Nishotri, Charadasha. So you use all the techniques and you basically make the prediction. You use them to make predictions. But the thing is, this is where this is something that can basically put you in the right ballpark. Because sometimes when you don't know whether a particular event is actually possible during a year or not, if you don't have a foolproof technique to make a judgment on that, we are using just the annual charts and other fine techniques. We are kind of on an unstable base. So this basically, in my opinion, this can be the base. This Sudarshan Chakra can be very useful as a base.
And if you see some problems also, right? If you see some problem now, so you can predict.
Like in my case, right? In my chart, my D10, right? You saw 6,000 and 10,000 involved in Gurchandal Yoga. So there is a chance of some mishap in career. So of course I couldn't have done anything because it just came out of blue. I couldn't have really, all I could have probably done is prepare my resume earlier. Once it happened, it took a couple of days to prepare my resume and send it out.
So if you look at such kind of period entries where you have Jupiter and Rahu in combination, then you can expect some kind of a bad...
It is possible. But the thing is, it has to be showing with respect to all the three references. In this case, the 10th from all the three references was activated. Right. It may not be, right? In that case, things are fine. So see if all the three references are at least two of them show. Now let us quickly look at the Antardasha Pravesh Chakra. Before that, go back to Dasha Pravesh Chakra, Lagna and Sun in Capricorn, Moon in Sagittarius. Okay? So when two references are together, you can give lot of importance to that. Even ignore the other reference. That is what Palachara indicated.
Once again, Lagna and Sun.
That is why. So Capricorn becomes more powerful. So look mainly from Capricorn, Lagna and Sun in Capricorn. Now, Antardashas are the 5th Antardasha, right? 98 August 8 to September 8. That is the 5th Antardasha. So make the Antardasha Pravesh Chakra and take the 5th house from Capricorn as the progress Lagna and progress Sun. So Taurus is the progress Lagna, progress Sun. Right? Everybody get that? And in the Taurus, with respect to Taurus, are there any nice yogas?
The 4th Lord and the 5th Lord together?
Yeah, 4th Lord, 5th Lord together. Not only that, Lagna Lord, 9th Lord, Parivartana. Fortune. Are you getting the Dasha Pravesh Chakra? So Taurus, from Taurus has Lagna, which is the 5th house. From the Dasha Pravesh has Lagna and Sun.
It has got
4th Lord, 5th Lord, 9th Lord, 10th Lord. Excellent Rajogas in the Lagna. Now, are any of them well placed? If you see Lagna as Ashtaka Varga, Mercury and Saturn are well placed in the first house. In Lagna as Ashtaka Varga, Mercury and Saturn are well placed. And moreover, Venus, Lagna Lord, is in 9th house. Right? And he is also well placed in the Ashtaka Varga. For Venus, 9th is a good placement. And for Mercury and Saturn, first is a good placement. So, ninth lord in Lagna, Lagna lord in ninth house. And also fifth lord in Lagna. This is an awesome combination. So, there is a terrific combination involving first house, fifth house and ninth house. Okay? Now the thing is, you don't have to even look at anything else. This is really powerful enough. Now, from Sun, if we see, the Ashtavarga of Sun, Sun and Saturn are well placed there. So, two of the planets, basically out of the 4 planets giving Rajogas, 2 of them are well placed from Sun and 2 of them are well placed from Lagna. But the thing is, Rajogas are true from both the references. Okay? Okay.
And Aries is the next with respect to Moon.
With respect to Moon, Aries. If you see Aries, the 5th house is
Sun.
Leo. Is anybody aspecting it? Is anybody aspecting it? Nobody really aspects it. And its Lord is Sun, and he is not that powerful. So from Moon, basically things are not really. Only thing is, Lagna Lord is in a trine in the 9th house. And 9th Lord Jupiter is aspecting Lagna. So there are some good combinations, but overall, and both of them are, by the way, benefiting the Ashtavarga, Mars and Jupiter.
But Jupiter is also with Rahu here, and we don't consider.
Yeah. So overall, this is not really showing great things. It's not really telling much. But the thing is, there are, technically speaking, there are Rajogas, 5th Lord and 10th Lord. And moreover, 11th Lord and 5th Lord is actually a good yoga. It's not a Rajoga, but for childbirth, 5th and 11th is a good yoga. 11th is basically gains, and 5th is children. And here, 10th Lord and 11th Lord Saturn is joining the 5th Lord. So that is a good combination. But the thing is, it's not really, I wouldn't have predicted based on this. But the thing is, from Lagna and Sun, when 2 differences are together, you can exclusively go by that also, if 2 of the 3 differences are together. So from that, there are awesome Rajogas involving the trine. So this is a great year for the childbirth. Now the thing is, if you see the Pratyanta Dasha Pravesha, what I expect is, well, there is childbirth during the year, but the thing is, what is 5th house, 9th house showing? It is showing Purva Punya, blessings, all that. So if you focus on the month or the year, I feel like basically my consciousness is overwhelmed with the blessing, with the sense of blessing. Whereas if you look at the 2.5 day period, my wife is basically complaining that she is in pain, and I have I have my Friday Lakshmi Puja. So actually I had an intuition. Usually I used to do in the night. That day I said, let me do it in the morning. So I basically did it in the morning. At 6 o'clock itself I finished the puja. And then at 8 o'clock, once I finished the puja, 7:38, my wife started saying, we have to go to doctor. We went around 10:30, and at 11:30 my son was born. Had I waited till the end of the day, I would have been in a Dhamma. Basically, people don't do pujas or rituals after the birth. I would have done it anyway. Basically, this is not really a ritual. This is just sitting and meditating with the Lakshmi Ashtotram. So I would have done it. But the thing is, the problem was solved by doing it in the morning. So the thing is, my mind is, okay, we should go now. Should I take leave today, or from there should I go to work? All these things, basically, there are so many practical things that you are concerned about. So the thing is, the D7 may or may not show the event that strongly when you look at the Pratyanta Dasha. But let us see just as an exercise. So before we do that, in the Antardasha Pravesh Chakra, where are Lagna? Lagna in Pisces, Sun in Taurus, Moon in Scorpio. So Pisces, Taurus, Scorpio. So click on the Antardasha, make the Pratyanta Dasha. So this is the 6th Pratyanta Dasha. The childbirth occurred in 6th Pratyanta Dasha. It was 21st morning 11:30 US time. So in India time, because the software is showing Dashas in India time, it will be around 10 o'clock in the night on 21st. So it is still the 6th Pratyanta Dasha. Make the entry chart. So those 2.5 days. So Lagna is in, I said Taurus, Pisces, right? So 6 from Pisces is Leo. So Lagna contains Lagna Lord, and he is benefiting the Ashtavarga also. Now, 5th Lord is not really well placed, right? The 9th is not really that strong. But the thing is, Lagna Lord, Sun and 9th Lord Mars have a Rajoga. Now if you see from progress, Sun is in Taurus, right? So from there if you see the 6th house, it is Libra. Libra is aspected by his own Lord, which is good, but the thing, and fifth house is also aspected by his Lord Saturn, who's in an Anhita Rasi, but the thing is nothing really, 11th Lord is in the 11th house, but nothing stands out that deeply. And where was Moon? Scorpio or Sagittarius? Scorpio. From there, if you take the fifth house, Lagna is Pisces. Scorpio you said, right? So Aries. From Aries, fifth Lord is in the fifth house, and Lagna Lord and fifth Lord are in a Samsaptaka. Okay, so overall there are some good combinations. You see some yogas involving Lagna Lord, fifth Lord, ninth Lord, etc. You do see some good combinations. Fifth Lord aspected by fifth house aspected by fifth Lord, or fifth Lord in fifth house, like that. You see some good combinations. But the thing is, it's not really like, it's not so powerful like you saw in Antardasha Pravesh Chakra. This is typically what I find. As you go down deeper, during those 2.5 days, basically, if you look at the consciousness, what the consciousness is focused on, it's basically, there is so much other noise in a short period. But when you look at a month, when you look back at that month, during that month, my mind, the consciousness is filled with, I'm getting this blessing, that thought. So in annual chart, things are shown well. In the Antardasha, in the monthly chart, things are shown even better. But in the Pratyantardasha chart, it may not be shown that well. But there may be something that is, see, this is a long-term event, getting a child. And further, you are basically going through some trouble during those 2.5 days. But suppose there was something that is specific to a 2.5 day period, or a 25 minute period, or 5-hour period. Something really stands out during that time. Then that will show well. But the thing is, we'll see such examples later. But the thing is, those events are not like childbirth or marriage, because those are long-term events. When you look at short-term events, like I'm driving right now. If you look at the next, not 2.5 days, but if you look at a 5-hour period or 25-minute period, suppose I'm driving during a 25-minute period, that has to really show. So things like that basically. You will see when you go to shorter periods, things that basically, for example, in a 2.5 day period, I may be traveling, I may be totally unstable with respect to house. So that really stands out. So when you go to deeper, shorter periods, really trivial events really take up your mind space. So they are shown much better. But when you go to longer periods, long-term events take up your mind space, and they show up better there. Okay? So with that I will end the class. I have to really get going now for the puja. So, Om Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu Yavad Bhumandale Sanatan Dharmo Vardhatu Visheshatah Bhartakhande Om Shanti Shanti Shanti